It's 2018 and for the new year I've decided that I'm going to try to live a more environmentally conscious and just eco-friendly life, because this was something that I used to be really good at, and then in the last few years I've been kind of not being as hard on myself about like being good to the environment until last year I met Angela Lehmann and she reminded me that this was like something that was super important to me, so I'm bringing it back. The first way I'm gonna try to do that is by buying less clothes. Or actually, no clothes. No more new clothes. It's unnecessary. Nobody needs that much. And I just keep buying more and I keep buying more because shopping is fun and shopping like fills this void you have in your chest, you know. So I'm gonna just stop doing that completely. Especially at places like H&M and Forever 21 and places that have like cheap clothing. It's really bad for the environment, and it's not only bad for the environment, it's also bad in terms of the labor forces behind it, so done with that completely. The only time I will allow myself to buy an item of clothing is if it's in some way significant. Like if I went to a concert and I really enjoyed the band, and then I'll buy a band shirt at the concert. Also shoes. I do not need more shoes. At this point in my life, I'm set. And I just keep buying more, especially sneakers. Bitch, don't need this many sneakers. I'm not gonna buy a single pair of shoes in 2018. Unless it's flip-flops, but only if the 2 pairs of flip-flops that I currently have break. That's the only time I'm gonna allow myself to buy a new pair. Secondly, I'm going to cut out seafood out of my diet completely. I already started this like a week or 2 before the new year because my sister and I were having a conversation about how there's no such thing as sustainable fishing. I already didn't eat shellfish. I tried not to eat tuna because yellowfin tuna is endangered. But from now on, I am eating no seafood whatsoever. Unfortunately, I'm a massive fan of like sashimi, but I'm gonna be strict with myself and just, if I feel like having something nice to eat, then I'll have something else that's not seafood. That's not salmon sashimi. There's so many options, Miriam. Get your shit together, you can do this. Number 3 on my list of how to just be a generally better person towards the environment is only buy cruelty-free makeup. I have been pretty good with the cruelty-free makeup thing in the past, and I should clarify that cruelty-free is only in regards to animal testing. Any other cruelty that's behind the making of this makeup is not taken into consideration. So yes, I'm aware that cruelty-free does not always mean entirely cruelty-free. But baby steps, starting with the no animal testing. So yeah, I've been pretty good with it, but pretty good is not good enough because I know for a fact that the lipstick I am currently wearing is not cruelty-free, and I'm not gonna like throw out my makeup that isn't cruelty-free because then I bought it and I wasted it. So I'm gonna keep using it until it's done. I'm just not gonna keep buying those brands. Now we're on to a big one which like has a lot of subcategories, I guess, and that's just try to minimize my use of plastic, especially like one-time use plastic, which there's so much of. And I have like a couple of ways in which I plan to do that. One of them, and this one's difficult. This is probably the one thing I'm gonna struggle most with. It's to use a menstrual cup instead of tampons. And the thing is, I have a menstrual cup, I do, but I can't get it up there, you know? I struggle with like fitting it into my vagina. So I've had it for a while, and I've tried. I have. But I've been unsuccessful so far. But this year I'm gonna master it, because I still have a couple of tampons on stock. And I'm gonna let myself use those, because again, I don't wanna like have bought something and then waste it. But I'm not gonna buy more tampons. I'm giving myself until I run out to figure out how one uses the menstrual cup. And then hopefully I'll just use that for the rest of my life, and it will be far better for the environment because I use those tampons with the plastic applicator. That's like one piece of plastic that's just gone, used. How many tampons do I use a day in my period? First day, like 5 tampons, that's 5 pieces of plastic. That's terrible. Another thing, and some of my friends already do this, including Angela Lehmann, who I mentioned, and my sister, and Mia Naval, so shout out to you guys, you're better people than me. Bring a cup with water, juice, coffee, anything. You know, like one of these guys with like the sippy top, or if you don't like the sippy top, then here's one without a sippy top. It keeps your beverages cold or warm, whatever you want. You don't have to like go out and spend money on a drink if you get thirsty. Also, if you're carrying water around, you're more likely to drink more. So it's better for your wallet, it's better for your health, and it's better for the environment. Like, why have I not been doing this before? Once you use that C2 bottle, what do you do with it? You throw it away. So cutting that shit out, like, immediately. Another thing which I started to do already, but I don't do it enough. I don't do it 100% of the time, which I really need to get in the habit of doing, is to bring a tote bag everywhere I go. So if I buy something, like if I buy a book, or if I buy clothes, which hopefully I won't be doing, but if I buy a book, if I buy anything, I have my tote bag there, and then I can say, I don't need a bag, thank you, I can put it in my bag, therefore sparing, you know, the bag, which just needs to be a habit that I need to get myself into. And it's not like something that's difficult, like not eating seafood. It's just something that I keep forgetting to do. So it's something that I just need to like get my mind to just always be on top of. This, I wanted to do, start doing this for a while now, is to bring not plastic, any kind of chopsticks. We don't have plastic chopsticks. To bring chopsticks, we have wooden chopsticks, so I guess in my case it will be wooden chopsticks, like everywhere I go, just like the tote bag, because then if I'm eating something and they offer me like a plastic spoon and fork, which I know will be used once and then never again, I can decline the plastic spoon and fork and whip out the chopsticks and use those to eat. And the chopsticks are reusable, so then I go home and I wash them and I can use them again. And the spoon and fork were spared. Then there's something which, much like the cruelty-free makeup, is not something I'm gonna do right now in this moment because I have products that need to be finished first. I'm gonna try, after finishing my shampoo and my conditioner and soap, my hand soap and so on, to only buy naked products like shampoo, and bar conditioner and bar soap, which comes in like a cardboard soap box, you know, so there's no plastic involved there, because you go through shampoo quite a lot. Like, how many bottles of shampoo, plastic bottles of shampoo, would you have at the end of the year if you collected all of them? It's enough for it to be a problem. And then there's just things, this is where it's gonna get hard, where I know I just need to stop. Like, I just need to cold turkey stop, because it's probably really bad for me and it's bad for the environment. And that's things like Starbucks. Don't go to Starbucks, because you always get a plastic cup with the plastic top and the straw, and it's always like one-time use things. Milk tea, you gotta stop getting milk tea because it's the same whole thing. But I can make my own milk tea. Food and drinks that you consume that have a lot of plastic that just goes straight into the bin, I'm just gonna try to avoid. Most of it's really bad for you, like cup noodles. The environment's gonna be a little more happy because I'm not doing that shit anymore. And my dad's gonna be a little more happy because I'm not eating shit anymore. So yay for everyone. Obviously there are gonna be exceptions to like all of this. Like, I'm not gonna stop buying hot Cheetos just because they come in a plastic bag. I feel like I deserve my hot Cheetos, considering that I am cutting out shopping for clothes completely out of my life. Finally, my dad and I have decided to like actively campaign against plastic and pollution and all of that, because we were on a ferry and on the way back from the island that we go to every year over Christmas and New Year's, and we were just watching people throwing plastic in the ocean, just like witnessing it. And sometimes if they were on the same level, because we were in the highest deck, then we'd catch the plastic and throw it in the bin. But if it's happening below you, there's nothing you can do. You think about the poor turtle that's gonna think it's a jellyfish and eat it. And like my sister and I, we've seen a dead turtle that was like caught in a fishing rod, not a fishing rod, those nylon fishing thingies, and it was like choked to death and stuff, and it was just really unpleasant to see. And stuff like that happens all the time because people just carelessly toss their garbage wherever instead of like throwing it in a bin. So my dad and I are trying to like actively campaign against that. We're doing like cleanup activities and stuff in which we clean up the beach. This is all hypothetical, it's all a plan. But hopefully if I put this on YouTube, it was a plan that I'll feel obliged to stick to because I told the world. And we're trying to involve people like Angela Lehman as much as possible. I'm sorry I keep calling you Angela. Angie. We're gonna try to incorporate people like Angie a lot, because I don't know anyone who cares as much about the damage that like plastic and one-time use plastic and all of that stuff is doing to our environment as much as Angie Lehman. And since she was basically the person that got me back into like care about the environment, Miriam, it would be rude not to invite her to these event things. Also, she probably has a bit more influence than my dad and I, so we're hoping that she can, like, you know, reach the people. No pressure, Angie. And I encourage anyone who would like to maybe try out any of these things to do so, because it may not seem like we're doing a lot by throwing your trash in the bin, but actually it is. It is a lot. And the more people just do little things to try to make the general situation better, the better it will actually become. So yes, I encourage anyone to just try to use as little one-time use plastic as possible, and please, for the love of God, just throw it in a bin when you're done. Don't just toss it on the street or in the ocean. It actually physically pains me to stand on top of a ferry and watch all the plastic just slowly fall into the sea. So yes, please don't.